Two tanks, two nations, one battlefield where the future of war will be decided. Russia unveiled the T-14 Armata, boasting it would crush NATO and rewrite ground combat forever. But now America has answered with a challenger of its own. This isn't just about machines of steel, it's about who will rule the next generation of warfare. For more than a century, tanks have been the ultimate symbol of battlefield power. From the steel monsters of World War II to the heavily armored workhorses of the Cold War, tank dominance defined military strength. The Soviet Union churned out thousands of T-series tanks, while the US countered with its Pattons and eventually the revolutionary Abrams. In 2015, Russia stunned the world at Moscow's Victory Day parade with a bold announcement: the T-14 Armata. It wasn't just another tank, it was advertised as the future of warfare. With its unmanned turret, advanced autoloader, and a design built to outclass NATO's best, the Armata seemed to signal a new era of Russian military power. But America wasn't standing still. While the Abrams had already proven itself in Iraq and Afghanistan, decades of upgrades were reaching their limits. A next-generation replacement was quietly taking shape. Enter the Abrams X, a hybrid electric, sensor-packed, drone-linked machine designed not just to match, but to surpass Russia's so-called wonder weapon. And here's the bigger picture. In 2024, the US military budget stood at around $850 billion. Russia's? Barely $60 billion. One nation has unmatched resources to modernize. The other struggles to mass-produce its own designs. That raises the question, if the T-14 Armata was truly revolutionary, why has it failed to dominate the battlefield? When Russia unveiled the T-14 Armata in 2015, it was declaring that the future of ground combat belonged to Moscow. The T-14 came with bold promises. A fully unmanned turret meant crews could operate from a sealed, protected capsule inside the hull. Advanced composite and reactive armor were designed to shrug off NATO rounds. Its Afghanite active protection system using radar and interceptors was touted as capable of shooting down incoming missiles before they even struck. Add in a 125mm smoothbore cannon with an autoloader, and Russia claimed to have leapt years ahead of anything the West could field. The hype was enormous. Russian state media called it a revolution in armored warfare, the world's first true next-generation battle tank. On paper, the T-14 looked like it could outclass even the most modern Abrams variants. Some experts worried that NATO was suddenly lagging behind. But the reality told a very different story. Despite plans to produce more than 2,300 units by 2025, reports indicate that by 2023, Russia had manufactured fewer than 100, many of them only prototypes. Costs soared, technical problems mounted, and the program was quietly scaled back. Instead of leading Russian armored brigades, the T-14 has been almost entirely absent from the war in Ukraine. Western intelligence and multiple battlefield assessments confirmed that the Armata has not played any meaningful combat role, raising doubts about whether it is even ready for real war. And while Russia struggled to mass-produce its tank of the future, the United States was quietly preparing its own answer. Behind the scenes, General Dynamics Land Systems and the Pentagon were sketching out a tank designed not only to match the Armata's innovations, but to surpass them, setting the stage for a direct clash between two very different visions of modern warfare. The T-14 Armata was meant to be Russia's crown jewel, a tank that would rewrite the rules of ground warfare. Instead, it has become a symbol of Russian overpromise. Hailed in 2015 as revolutionary, it never moved beyond small batches of prototypes. Nearly a decade later, it is still missing from the very battlefield where Russia needs it most: Ukraine. While Moscow's future tank remains stuck in limbo, Washington has already moved on to the next stage. In 2023, the U.S. Army unveiled plans for the M1E3 Abrams, a leaner and more advanced design set to replace older Abrams models by the 2030s. This isn't a mock-up or a distant dream, it's an official program moving forward. The M1E3 is being built around battlefield realities. Its design trims weight for easier transport, boosts survivability for the crew, and incorporates a fully digital backbone. This means future upgrades like AI-assisted targeting, drone integration, and advanced sensors can be plugged in without rebuilding the whole machine. The Abrams of tomorrow isn't a one-off prototype, it's a system meant to grow with the times. The real hidden factor is logistics. Tanks don't just win battles with armor and guns, they need to be built in numbers, fueled, repaired, and upgraded. Russia's T-14 has stumbled on every one of those fronts. Costs ballooned, factories slowed, and sanctions crippled its supply chain. Even if the design works on paper, Moscow can't put thousands of them into the field. The US, by contrast, is designing the Abrams for affordability and sustainability. With a defense budget over 10 times larger than Russia's and decades of experience mass-producing tanks, America is not chasing a dream, it's putting a plan in motion. One tank exists mostly in parades, the other is being shaped to dominate real battlefields. On paper, the T-14 Armata still looks like a marvel. An unmanned turret, advanced armor, a sleek design that wowed audiences at parades, it was billed as the tank of the future. But promises don't win wars. Nearly a decade after its debut, the T-14 is more a symbol of Russia's struggles than of its strength. High costs, endless delays, and a failure to mass produce have kept it from proving itself where it matters most: the battlefield. The US approach could not be more different. The M1E3 Abrams, announced in 2023, doesn't try to dazzle with flashy claims. It's about practicality, reduced weight for global deployment, digital systems for constant upgrades, and survivability tested across decades of real combat. Backed by an $850 billion defense budget, it's not a concept. It's a program already moving toward reality. So what happens if these two tanks ever meet? The duel would be decided by more than armor thickness or gun size. It would come down to supply chains, training, and integration. NATO forces could field hundreds of M1E3s, fully supported by advanced logistics, drone scouts, and air cover. Russia, by contrast, can barely keep a handful of T-14s operational. Even if the T-14's design has advantages, it cannot fight a war alone. This is the peak tension, the tank that never fought, against the tank designed for the wars of tomorrow. The T-14 remains stuck in testing and parades. The M1E3 is being engineered for real-world deployment, with sustainability and alliance power behind it. One is a bold concept trapped by reality. The other is a battlefield machine already shaping the future. The story of the T-14 and the M1E3 isn't just about two tanks. It's about the future of ground warfare itself. Tanks are not disappearing, they are evolving. Drones, missiles, and cyber warfare may dominate headlines. But when battles grind into contested territory, armored vehicles still decide who holds the ground. Russia's grand promises with the T-14 show the danger of mistaking theory for power. A handful of prototypes may look impressive in parades, but without mass production and battlefield deployment, they remain little more than expensive experiments. In Ukraine, the absence of the T-14 has spoken louder than any press release. America's response tells the opposite story. With the M1E3 Abrams, the US is not chasing headlines. It is preparing for decades of future wars. Designed to be scalable, survivable, and fully integrated into NATO operations, it reflects a simple lesson. Technology matters, but production and sustainability matter more. The war in Ukraine has reminded the world that tanks still matter. They are vulnerable, yes, but when deployed in numbers, supported by logistics and combined arms, they remain the backbone of land power. And in that contest, the US is moving forward with a plan, while Russia remains trapped in a dream. It all began with a question: two tanks, two futures. On one side, Russia's T-14 Armata, a symbol of ambition, hyped as the future of armored warfare, but stuck in parades and prototypes. On the other, America's M1E3 Abrams, a design less flashy but grounded in reality, already charting the path toward the 2030s and beyond. The difference tells the whole story. Russia dreamed of revolution, but stumbled over cost, logistics, and production. The United States chose evolution, refining what works, preparing for new threats, and making sure its tanks can actually reach the battlefield. In the end, modern war doesn't reward the boldest concept. It rewards the force that can put steel, fuel, and firepower where it matters most. Ideas can inspire, but only armies in motion can win. The Armata may remain a symbol. The Abrams will become reality. And that difference could decide the battlefields of tomorrow.